Okay, let's cut straight to the chase. Why are 7 new albums dropping on the same day one of the most fascinating cultural moments of 2026? Hook! Because music, my friends, is the ultimate time capsule. And this week's releases? They're like a cracked open diary of our collective psyche. Let's unpack why. First up, the Mountain Goats days. Now, I'll admit, I've never been a die-hard fan of their 24-album discography, but this one's a head-scratcher in the best way. John Darnielle's whole sequel to Goth's concept started as a joke about Pearl Jam on social media. Wait, so a throwaway tweet becomes a full album about the 70s, 80s, and 90s? What's wild here is how he frames time, not as nostalgia, but as a distorted mirror. The guy literally says the songs are in major keys, but don't let that fool you. That's the music industry in a nutshell, right? Shiny packaging, but what's the cost? Context setup. And why does this matter? Because we're drowning in vintage aesthetics right now. TikTok's retro trend, Gen Z's obsession with Y2K, hell, even Stray Kids this and that is a K-pop time capsule. These guys wrote every track themselves through their in-house Team 3 Ratcha. In a genre where labels micromanage, that's a rebellious flex. But here's the twist. Even their DIY ethos is a calculated move to stay relevant. What does that say about authenticity in 2026? Switching gears to Margaret Glaspie's I Am Both. She openly admits detoxing from social media to get back to original thought. As someone who's scrolled mindlessly for hours, this hits hard. The album was recorded live with Grammy-winning producer Joe Henry. So why does raw creativity require fleeing algorithms? I'd argue we're seeing a split in artistry. Those who weaponize nostalgia, looking at you, Mountain Goats, and those fleeing the digital rat race. But can you ever truly escape? The irony of her life-changing social media break being announced on social media? Chef's kiss. Now, let's talk about dinner parties What You Bringing. Jazz supergroup meets spoken word poet J. Ivy. Sounds pretentious, right? But here's the kicker. They're collaborating with Felix on 7 of 9 tracks. This isn't just fusion. It's a middle finger to genre purists. And in an era of hyper-optimized playlists, why would artists risk alienating fans with too many cooks? Because the real story here is the death of musical silos. Kamasi Washington, Terrace Martin. They're building a bridge between jazz's past and hip-hop's future. Bold? Absolutely. Commercially risky? Definitely. But isn't that the point? Then there's role models Chuck Timely and The Hourglass. Tucker Pillsbury's time travel alter ego while watching friends move ahead in life? Relatable. But here's what bugs me. Why do we romanticize stagnation as some kind of artistic virtue? He's 26, hardly ancient. And yet the album leans into Gen Z's existential dread of falling behind. It's the same anxiety fueling productivity culture, but wrapped in synth pop. Clever? Sure. But are we just commodifying burnout now? And finally, Ceremonies Tell Me Your Dream. Punk veterans asking, what do you do? As a critique of transactional relationships? Harsh but spot on. Their frontman Ross Farrar frames vulnerability as rebellion in 2026. But wait, when did punk become the last safe space for sincerity? Maybe because everything else feels so curated. Their DIY ethos feels less like rebellion and more like survival. In a world of AI-generated bops, maybe raw edges are the new revolution. So here's the real tea. This isn't just about albums. It's about artists wrestling with time, identity, and relevance in an age where everything's a meme and nothing lasts. Deeper insight, the Mountain Goats distort the past. Stray Kids weaponize the present. Glaspie and role model Chase escape. But who's actually winning? The truth? None of them, and that's the point. Music's job isn't to answer questions. It's to make us ask harder ones. Like, if every album's a time capsule, what happens when we open them and realize we're still stuck in the same cycles? Or worse, what if we're okay with that? Drop your thoughts. Are we in a golden age of self-aware artistry, or just recycling the same anxieties with better production? Closing thought. I'll leave you with Darnielle's words about selling a bridge, with nothing on the other side. Ain't that the truth about music and maybe life? Who needs a bridge when the journey's the whole damn point?